This is Amy Lowell. Amy once said that God made me a businesswoman, but I made myself a poet. And the anthologies that she did were very popular. And D.H. Lawrence wrote to her and said, "Thank you for the cheque, it comes in really handy." And she gave him the typewriter that he wrote Sons and Lovers on. So this is called Dreams by Amy Lowell. And I like her because she's bravely, fiercely honest. I do not care to talk to you, although your speech evokes 1,000 sympathies, and all my being's silent harmonies wake trembling into music. When you go, it is as if some sudden dreadful blow had severed all the strings with savage ease. No, do not talk, but let us rather seize this intimate gift of silence which we know. Others may guess your thoughts from what you say, as storms are guessed from clouds where darkness broods. To me, the very essence of the day reveals its inner purpose and its moods, as poplars feel the rain and then straightway reverse their leaves and shimmer through the woods. And where's the other one? This is called The Letter. There's Amy, because she, of her glandular condition, was very stout, but there is a lovely early photograph of her, and she's dressed in a man's suit with a top hat, and she's very gentleman jackish altogether. She smoked, when people give out about her, they say that she smoked a big black cigar, and yet she's the sister of this important guy and stuff like that. Her second brother wrote a book on the canals of Mars and had a hand in discovering Pluto as a then planet. But she smoked a slim panatella. See, if you want to go out about her, it's a big black cigar. But it's actually a slim one. And she was talking to a young, shy poet, and she said to him that smoking a cigar is like undressing a woman. First you take off her dress, the package, then you take off the ring around it, and then the second ring, and very Bill Clinton-ish. I think she was just sending them up. This is called The Letter. Little cramped words scrawling all over the paper like draggled flies' legs. What can you tell of the flaring moon through the oak leaves, or of my uncertain window and bare floor spattered with moonlight? Your silly quirks and twists have nothing in them of blossoming hawthorns, and this paper is dull, crisp, smooth, virgin of loveliness beneath my hand. I am tired, beloved, of chafing my heart against the want of you, of squeezing into these little ink drops and posting it, and I scald alone here under the fire of the great moon. Thank you, that's Amy. This is me. This is called My Love is as a Fever, which is, you know, your Shakespeare's Sonnet 147. My love is as a fever longing still. My love is as a fever. All that long hot summer through, I shared a summer cold with you that seemed to last forever. Whether sharing the same germs, dreams, bacteria or whatever, it seemed to bind us so very close together. If this was love, it couldn't get no better. And all my heart could say, even to this day, is, bless you, bless you, bless you. Thank you. I was reading in London a couple of weeks ago, and I had to go to a private club, and I sort of knew where it was, but I didn't. And I was in a state of distress. I hadn't taken my diabetic tablets, and I was passing out. So I just walked by it about 20 times. But before I left, I looked at Google, and you know, Google tells you how many steps it is, everything like that. Back in '86, I had just come to London, and Jimmy Miller had died. Anybody know who Jimmy Miller is? Very famous songwriter. Stage name of Ian McCall. First time ever I saw your face, Sweet Thames, all those. That's Ian McCall. And as I crossed London, I didn't know that he died. And cars were going by, and you'd hear Ian McCall's song seeping out of a car, out of a taxi. I thought, what the hell? And I hadn't heard him for ages, but I love Ian McCall's songs. This is called Real World Conditions. Before I dash for the train, get the gist of where I'm going, Google tells me not only where, but how far. even offers me full 3D and satellite view. By now, I get the picture. But Google, knowing that reality isn't all it's cracked up to be, sees fit to warn me. Use caution, I'm advised. Walking directions may not always reflect sunlight glances off a passing jagger. Real world conditions. Sunlight becomes rain. Passing by now Ripley's Believe It or Not. And indeed it is so. A man walks a weasel on a leash, or is it a ferret? Passers-by give him a wide berth, amused and bemused all at the same time. A punk sings opera as if he had stepped out of another dimension. As work progresses, a photo of a building covers the building as if it were wearing the 2D dress of its 3D self. Waiting for a green light, a dog pees on my left shoe. Sweet Thames flows softly, Ian McCall's voice leaking from a car window. Hum now as I cross the street to greet her, she appearing through rain-clouded glasses, real as real can be. Kissed her once again at Wapping, flow, sweet river flow. After that there was no stopping, sweet Thames flows softly. Thank you. I think I have one more, I'm not too sure if I got one more. No, it's out. Nope. One April, with his surest sota, the dracht of March had parsa to the rota, and bawd at every vine and switch liqueur, of which for two, and genre is the floor. One Zephyrus equidus with a breath, in spirit had in every halt and hurt, the tender croppers and the youngest sonne, and in the ram his half for coursey runner, and smaller fowlers, lacking melody, that slepen all the night with open knee. So pricked him the tour in her courageous, than longen folk to go on pilgrimages. So beginneth the book of the Tales of Canterbury, and so too here begins my poem, so pricked him the tour in her courageous. Which means that when spring comes, nature is going to make you do what you got to do, whether you're a girl or flower bob, boy or bird, bee or tree. And for me, it was reading. Because I couldn't. I'm highly dyslexic, so I tried to read myself into reading. Hence the Chaucer. So this is called So Pricked Him the Tour in Her Courageous. Never did help my da enough. Always head stuck in a book. Dónall, son, he'd call. Can you hold this while I saw? Oh, da, I'd wail. Me lost in Chaucer and his tale. And so the saw saws. But all I hear is, yo, the miller was a chap of 16 stone, a great stout fellow, big and brawn and bone. The saw cuts through the afternoon, pauses then, Chaucer's on again. He did well out of it, for he could go and win the ram at any wrestling show. Say what? Oh, don't get me wrong, I adore the aesthetic beauty of sawdust floating in a universe of its own, suspended in sunlight and shadow. The smell of pine kidnapping my mind, the dance of the bubble in a spirit level. Never did care for all that hammering and sawing. I was a boy in a mission ever since our teacher saying, oh, I don't know why I teach you scruff Chaucer, you'll never read the book. But by the weekend, furious at the rebuff I had. My poor old da only getting begrudging help. One that April, the words falling like gentle rain upon my mind, with his surest sota, the dracht of March, words, words, oh sweet words, had passed to the rota, my mind, bawd at every vine and switch liqueur. The dance of the bubble in the spirit level, poised perfectly poised, of which for two, and John is the floor. Thank you.